Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Last night, Elon Musk updated the world on SpaceX's Starship development. Let me tell you, the event was amazing. We learned a lot of really cool details, but I'm still a little baffled by the pace of this program. It's unheard of. If only there was someone that could answer a few more of my questions about this program and about Starship. Elon, how's it going? Thank you. You know, full flow, stage combustion, not a bad idea. Mind miking yourself up there? After Elon complimented my shirt, we mic'd him up and let the cameras roll. Now, for those of you new to my channel, we're gonna get into some fairly in-depth rocket science, and if it's over your head, don't worry. Stick around my channel, and I promise I'll make sense of all the stuff we talk about, like full flow stage combustion cycle and aerospace engines. There were parts of this interview that I wasn't really planning to release at first, but I actually think the best thing I could do is just show you the entire thing uncut from a single camera, so you can feel like you're right there with us. Yeah, first off, thank you so much for talking to me. I mean, we're underneath your beautiful beast.
Yeah, it's crazy. Can you believe this is even here?
I was here a month ago, literally standing right here. Well, not just over the fence. Right. And you had a tube and a pointy tube, and now you've got this. I mean, how do you do that? Is it just sheer will? Is it everyone that driven about the goal?
I don't know. I think I've learned a lot of lessons about how to make things go fast, and then I've propagated those lessons to the SpaceX team, and there's just like an incredibly talented, hardworking team at SpaceX. Yeah. In fact, at times I think maybe there's too many talented people at SpaceX. We have too many talented people that were cornering the market. Or something. But there's a very talented group that works super hard, and taking the general approach of if a design is taking too long, the design is wrong, and therefore the design must be modified to accelerate progress.
Right.
One of the most fundamental errors made in advanced development is to stick to a design even when it is very complicated, and to not strive to delete parts and processes.
Right.
It's incredibly important. So this is why the switch to steel was because the advanced carbon fiber was taking too long.
Right. And you're definitely not a sunk cost fallacyst. You're
definitely not.
This is clearly the new path forward, let's hop on it.
Yeah, is it in the future or not? If it's not in the future, who cares?
Yeah, and you did that, I mean, look at last year, Dear Moon. You guys were kind of in that awkward stage of probably figuring this out right here. You had the carbon fiber mandrel.
We didn't even have the steel. I think we were still on the path. When was the Dear Moon thing?
Almost exactly a year ago.
That was before the change to steel.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, you showed the carbon mandrel and everything, and you're excited about that, but then all of a sudden we see you switch.
I canceled the carbon fiber design in October last year.
Yeah, so just after that.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is that you're the lead engineer. You're literally
This is I was actually at dinner with a friend, and he was like, "Well, who's the chief engineer at SpaceX?" I was like, "It's me." No, it's like, it's not you. Who is it? Like, look, it's either someone with a very low ego, or I don't know, But that said, what I actually tell a team is everyone is a chief engineer. This is extremely important, and that everyone must understand how broadly speaking, all the systems in the vehicle work.
Right.
And so that so you don't have subsystem optimization, because this is naturally what happens. You can see the organizational errors the product errors reflect the organizational errors. So essentially you'll see that there's an interface at this, if you got whatever departments you've got, that will be where your interfaces are.
Right.
And then instead of getting rid of something or questioning the constraints, the one department will design to the constraints that the other department has given them without calling into question those constraints and saying those constraints are wrong. And you should actually take the approach that the constraints that you are given are guaranteed to be some degree wrong. Guaranteed to be some degree wrong. Because the counterpoint would be that they're perfect.
Right, which is never.
You say what's the probability that this is the platonic ideal of the perfect part? Right. Zero. Okay, basically. So you question your constraints. It does not matter if the person handing you those constraints won a Nobel Prize. Even Einstein was wrong some of the time.
Right.
So question your constraints. This is extremely important. And I think another thing that what are the mistakes that smart engineers make? I think that one of the biggest traps for smart engineers is optimizing a thing that shouldn't exist.
Yeah. So they'll just sit there and spin on that thing that's just like, why do we even have this in the first place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So because when you go through college, like studying physics and engineering, I studied physics. You have to answer the question that the professor gives you. You don't get to say this is the wrong question.
Right. Yeah.
But in reality, we have far more degrees. When you're in reality, you have all the degrees of freedom of reality. And so the first thing you should say is this question is wrong.
Yeah. And that's what you said last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of said, like, it took us a long time to frame the question even. Because
Yes.
we didn't necessarily know
It took
what it
ages
was.
to frame the question.
Yeah.
It's just like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Douglas Adams, best philosopher ever. Maybe, I think, best book in philosophy ever, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This book is so deep, people don't understand. But like in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Earth is a giant computer.
Right.
And the Earth, it comes up with the answer 42.
Okay. Yep.
And to the question, like, so what's the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Answer is 42. And like, they're like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's like, the hard part is the question. The answer is the easy part. You need a much more powerful computer to tell you what the question is.
Right.
And this is true. At the point at which you can properly frame the question, the answer is comparatively easy.
Right.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you. I'm working on a video about aerospikes. It's going to be about an hour-long video on aerospikes, and they're like the rotary engine of rockets. Like the rotary it's advantageous in some ways.
Yeah.
Like a wankle.
Man, I tell
They're
you.
cool, but
I know.
What's your biggest beef on them? Because I'm trying to get as much insight on, like, why do you think they aren't used? And obviously, I assume you're not ever going to an aerospike for a lot of reasons.
I've internally asked this question so many times. Like, guys, shouldn't we maybe do an aerospike? The challenge. So you can explain to the audience what an aerospike is?
Oh yeah,
okay,
you're going to be like the end of this thing. I've already set it all
otherwise,
up. Yeah,
what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you got to get your combustion efficiency. Like there's really two parts to like when you have a rocket engine. What are you trying to do? You're trying to shoot things out as fast as possible in a straight line.
Yes. Yep. Converting as much thermal and pressure into kinetic energy.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
possible.
So you have your combustion efficiency. So what percentage of max theoretical combustion efficiency are you? Mm-hmm. And then what's your nozzle efficiency, which is really are you straightening the flow and shooting the molecules out in a straight line so that you go in the other direction?
Yes.
Newton's third law.
Yep.
With a traditional combustion chamber, you can get to a very high combustion efficiency because the molecules are all sort of bouncing around in there. They've got time to combine and do their thing. And then when you sort of choke it through the throat, that gives them sort of more opportunity to combine.
Yep.
So you can, we think we can probably get to 90, certainly 98.5, hopefully 99% of theoretical combustion efficiency. This is so if God himself came and knitted together the molecules to do 1% better. Okay, maybe 1.5% better. That's very high efficiency.
Because of full flow stage combustion.
Full flow stage combustion, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got a gas-gas interaction. So you've got two hot gases combining.
Yeah.
And with a relatively simple reaction, the only thing that would be simpler would be hydrogen. But you got CH4 and O2. It's pretty simple. You don't have any long chain hydrocarbons. With kerosene, you got the long chains. They got to break down. They got to recombine.
Yep.
It's like total soup.
Yeah.
It's like potluck dinner situation. It's very hard to get high combustion efficiency with kerosene. So when you look at the say like what's the theoretical value of say a LOX kerosene engine as compared to a methane engine, the kerosene actually looks more compelling than it really is because you can't achieve the high combustion efficiency with kerosene that you can with methane. So you actually want to say what is the actual achievable combustion efficiency times the theoretical chemical energy. That's the real number.
Right.
And this is where methane starts to look really good.
Yeah.
It's like very hard to get to like 96% combustion efficiency or even 95% combustion efficiency with kerosene. But with methane, you can get 98 easy, 99 with a little bit of difficulty.
And so you don't think, you're just telling me now, spoiler alert, you're probably never going to see a full flow stage combustion cycle aerospike engine produced by SpaceX.
if somebody can show that we're wrong, that would be great.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody can explain, like, wow, there is a way to make your design better. This is a gift.
Right.
I would be like, thank you for this great gift. Wow, this is awesome. It's definitely like the worst thing would be like we want to do some dumb design and stick with our dumb design.
Right.
That would be insane.
Right.
So I would love it if somebody could show how an aerospike is the smart move. In which case, we'll just do an aerospike.
Yeah, just do an aerospike.
Yeah,
There's
totally.
a reason they haven't been used. Period.
But maybe that reason is not valid. You know, because like there's also hasn't been a methane orbital engine.
Right? Or a
Or a
flying
full
full flow stage combustion. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been neither a full flow stage combustion engine that's seen flight, nor has there been a methane engine that's seen flight. Certainly in a rocket scenario. I think there may have been some like little test things, but no actual rockets. But I'm like very confident that CH4 is the right fuel.
Yep.
So maybe aerospike is right, even though it's not been done before. But you just have to show that your combustion efficiency is not affected, and that you're straightening the flow sufficiently.
Yep. To get your expansion ratio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And also, if you've got a two-stage rocket, like I think this is the other thing. Like you've got a two-stage rocket where your boost stage is primarily in atmosphere and your upper stage is primarily in vacuum.
Yep.
Then you can specialize for a vacuum nozzle and a sea level nozzle.
Right.
And then why do you need the aerospike?
Right.
It's only if you want to try to do single stage reusable, then that's when you start like having to reach for the aerospike.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aerospikes with Elon Musk. Hey, thank you so much.
But I would love it if somebody could show like, hey, you're missing the mark. You could do this different thing, and this would be a better move. That would be thank you, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, thanks for your time again.
Thanks
Seriously.
again.
Yeah. Pleasure
All right.
meeting you. Oh yeah, we might need to steal your mic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can bill you later. Thanks again for this.
Absolutely.
Man, I have to say, I've been to IAC
It's so
2016, seeing that was like, it was almost like awkward back then because it was like,
I know.
You're insane, and now it's like, hey, look, I'm not insane.
Well, obviously insane, but I mean, even when I'm exposed to this all day, it's still like, holy shit, it's still mad.
Yeah.
To see it actually there. And I was up in the nose. I'm going to post this later, but
Jack Bayer's photo. Bayer, he got a photo of you, like I think, like peeking out of it.
Well, like this is when I was inside there.
No way. Oh, and those are the header tanks?
Yeah.
And all the batteries, you got what, 6?
We've got 4 Tesla 100 kilowatt hour batteries that were just like basically welded onto the header tanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. You're doing Model 3 motors, basically?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's such. I mean, I don't love the. I think we should just have electromechanically. I think we're all going to probably with Mach 3 move to a purely electromechanical actuators for the flaps.
Right.
Currently, it's electric motors. It's like Tesla motors and batteries that essentially pump hydraulic fluid into an accumulator, and then the hydraulic piston moves the flap.
Yep.
But it would be simpler to just have the motors directly
just
kind of
do
like worm drive the flap.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah. And also the way the header tanks are done right now is crazy. We shouldn't be carrying the header tanks like cargo. I think we want the header tanks to be integral to the tip. So essentially, like just take the tip, use the tip of the rocket as half
top.
of the header tank, and essentially mirror the main tanks, but in small form in the nose. So just have 2 domes. And have the oxygen and fuel in the tip of the rocket. Not carrying the tanks like cargo, but having the tanks
Just integrated, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Just a mini version with big tanks.
Right. Okay, and then because you don't have an extra wall and everything too.
You have
It's
extra wall, no
integrated
mounting
into
planes,
yeah. Gotcha.
Like in the early days of rocketry, like V2 or whatever, the fuel and oxidizer tanks were carried like cargo in the aeroshell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the early days of aircraft and rockets, the propellant tanks were carried like cargo.
Right.
And now modern rockets of modern rockets and airplanes. Like the wing is just a fuel tank in wing shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just do the same for the header tanks.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep him so long, I guess.
Why are you looking at me? Was I rushing you out?
No, not at all.
It's everything at the end. Come on.
I'm just trying to kick him out of here, you know? I'm wasting all my time tonight. Just kidding. That was awesome. We've still got a lot more questions to get answered, and stick around because I'll have a lot of content explaining some of the topics we talk about. And sorry about the whole thing on aerospikes. I wasn't planning to release all that because that's for a video I've been working on, but whatever, I guess you get an aerospike video spoiler today. My bad. Sorry, in the interview I didn't really get much time to talk about heat shields or the super heavy booster or what the interior of Starship might look like, but maybe if we're lucky, Elon will continue to update us on Twitter. Or Elon, you can always come talk to me anytime about all the nerdy stuff you want. I love it. I think you did too. I owe the biggest thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys have helped take this little passion and hobby into a career. It wouldn't be a career without you guys, so thank you so much for your support. If you want access to more behind the scenes things and exclusive content and access, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/everydayastronaut. And if you want your own full flow staged combustion cycle shirt or other really cool nerdy aerospace stuff, I've got you covered. Go over to everydayastronaut.com/shop. And if you work in the aerospace industry, click on the link below the description of the apparel that you want. Click on that. You can get 25% off as my thank you to you for inspiring me to do what I do. I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff if you weren't doing crazy things to get humans off this planet. So thank you guys. It's everydayastronaut.com/shop. Thanks everybody. That's gonna do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people.